Northridge Board of Selectmen's meeting will come to order. Please stand and join us for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, no approval of minutes tonight and no public hearings. We're going to jump straight down into resignations. Item A, David Blavelt, Whitensville Downtown Crossroads Historic District Commission, and item 2, Kendall Shilton, Economic Development Committee and Master Plan Steering Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Next will be citizens' comment and input. Is there anyone here that would like to speak for citizens' comment tonight? Hearing none, we'll move along down to decisions. Item B, Village Congregational Church, 5 Church Street Annual Harvest Festival, September 26, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Rain date September 27th from 12 to 4 p.m. Request to use Memorial Park. Request for an entertainment license. Request to hang banner across Church Street from Monday, September 14th, 2026 to Monday, September 28th, 2026. And request to close Church Street from the intersection of Church Street and Linwood Ave to Park Street on September 26, 2026 from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, rain date September 27th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item C, St. Patrick's Church, 7 East Street, Whitensville. Request for wine and malt license for their Beer and Dynamics fundraiser event on Saturday, July 18th, 2026 from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Rain date July 19th, 2026 at 7 East Street.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, George Marston White and Community Association, Inc., DBA White and Community Center. Request to hang banner over Church Street from July 13th, 2026 to July 20th, 2026 to advertise the annual Cars in the Park event that will take place on Saturday, August 15th.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, Pine Grove Cemetery. Vote to approve the sale of 1 James and Priscilla Altunian, 85 Fair Ave North, 2 Donald Brothers, 54B Maple Path South, and finally 3 David DeJong, 100 Forest Ave East South.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And with that, that just brings us down to discussions tonight. Appreciate some folks from the master plan coming to give us an update. I'll invite you folks to come forward. And we do have the presentation in our packet. I'll turn it over to you guys.
What are we doing?
Good, how are you? Are we able to like slide it down so it's in between the two of us? Yes. Cool. I'll just move over. I'm gonna mess things up. Thank you so much.
So they have the packet so you can get going.
Okay. Great. Do I get started?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Hello. Good evening. I'm here with Emily Thibault from CMRPC. I'm Becky Rushford, the Planning Board Chair. We're here to give you an update on the master plan that we've been working on for over a year at this point. Yep. So there's a lot of like fantastic information in the packet. Just general information on the Mass General laws that set out like goals and priorities for doing the master plan and the different categories that would be included. It has different chapters. Some pieces we've done as separate reports, like the housing development plan, the economic development plan, open space and recreation. The plan also includes chapters on natural and cultural resources, which Emily will go over in a little more detail shortly. Different services we have, circulation, and implementation. We also recently, through vote, added a resiliency chapter, so we've been working on that as well. General timeline, we started, I want to say a little over a year ago, just before the Community Expo, not this past one, but the one before, and we started with a survey. The town came out in full force for the survey. It was amazing. What was it? Do you remember the final count?
We had over 1,500 responses
Oh, wow.
for all of the surveys in total, so a great turnout.
Which is awesome.
That's great.
We did do like some targeted surveys to like the high school, seniors, and then there are 2 surveys circulated, one at the start and then one at the end. They garnered a lot of fantastic information. We created a steering committee of folks. Thank you to everyone who's been on the steering committee and given your time for all of these meetings. We've met twice a month, pretty much, give or take, over the last year and change, partially with the Economic Development Committee and the Planning Board, mix of in-person and virtual. We've had numerous community engagement workshops and times for folks to jump in for like different strategic areas like economic development. And then there was a business forum.
Yep.
Economic development was the business forum, and there was another one that we did. So I'm getting off topic, but
Did it come up on the computer?
No, I don't see anything here.
Always.
so having an updated master plan is really important because it allows us to go for different grants. It allows us to have a framework that our town worked on together with all different pieces to create this framework to do other jumping off points. So it's sort of like our housing production plan, a set of guidelines that we can then use for planning, zoning, permitting, and other areas to sort of guide us for the next couple of years. Our last survey, and I'm sure you've heard it, was in like the mid-90s, so we were time for a refresh. Do you want to get through, you want to take them through?
Sure.
Well,
All right. Thanks again for having us tonight. We really appreciate the opportunity to provide this update. I'm going to talk a little bit about the content of the master plan. So there are several chapters as required by Mass General Law. These include vision and goals, land use, housing, economic development, natural and cultural resources, open space and recreation, public facilities and services, transportation and circulation. Resiliency and sustainability is not required, but that is an addition to this plan. And then the implementation chapter. So each chapter is structured into key findings, which incorporate data from census, as well as regional and state data sets, as well as lots of feedback from the community engagement events, the workshops, as well as all the surveys. And then each chapter includes goals, which are broad policy statements that outline goals for the next 10 to 20 years that further support the vision of the master plan, as well as action items, which are specific recommendations to achieve those goals and as well as the vision. All right, so with comments from the master plan community workshop and survey, the master plan steering committee crafted this vision statement, which is essentially a vision for the future of Northbridge. Northbridge is a town that values its past while embracing opportunities for the future. We will preserve and repurpose our historic infrastructure and conserve natural landscapes. We will enhance village centers with vibrant and dynamic community space, retail, dining, and entertainment options. We will foster new growth, invest in our community, promote affordable neighborhoods, and maintain a welcoming and safe place for generations to come. All right, so that's the vision statement, and again, that's the foundation for the plan. So next we're gonna discuss the content of the chapters. So first is land use. This describes and analyzes existing land use and patterns and guides future growth and redevelopment and conservation. This also coordinates a framework for the other elements or chapters of the plan. The key findings for the land use chapter include land use patterns favor low density residential with limited opportunities for new growth. key tension between the need to reduce housing costs and preserving the town's character. Open space protection is a core land use value. Village centers could be a focus for new growth, and better supported walkability, safety, and transit are key to future growth. The goals for the land use chapter include encourage village scale development in historic centers. 2, expand options for missing middle housing options, especially within walking distance of village centers. 3, prioritize preservation of existing open space and agricultural lands. And 4, pursue multimodal connections between village centers and key recreation areas. Next is the housing chapter. This chapter analyzes current and future housing needs. The key findings for this chapter include, according to projections, the town's population is not forecasted to grow significantly in the next decade. The population is primarily middle-aged adults and school-aged children, with a growing number of residents 55 and older. The community is concerned about affordability and increasing housing costs. The town offers a range of housing options, including multifamily structures, condominiums, single-family homes, rental units, and public housing. And finally, residents voiced a strong preference for smaller homes and community center villages and neighborhoods. The goals for the housing chapter are 1, preserve and increase affordable housing stock and promote assistance programs to support residents with housing costs. 2, maintain and encourage a diverse housing stock that provides for a range of ages and abilities. 3, promote adaptive reuse and design that blends with the town's historic character and walkable village centers. All right, and moving on to economic development, this chapter identifies opportunities to foster sustainable growth, create jobs, and enhance financial well-being of the town. The key findings for this chapter are a small tax base and stagnant growth in commercial taxes limit resources for town services. Northbridge's commercial centers feature unique characteristics. Few residents are employed in town, and residents feel that job opportunities are limited. The community views events and programming as a priority, and Northbridge's permitting process receives positive reviews, but could still benefit from additional tools and resources. The goals for economic development include 1, invest in improvements to physical spaces to enhance visitor access and experiences. 2, strengthen organization and coordination among businesses, property owners, and other partners. 3, take steps to attract and retain businesses and job opportunities. And 4, streamline the local permitting process by introducing additional tools and resources. All right, you still with me?
Yeah, we
All
are.
right. Next chapter, natural and cultural resources. This chapter includes inventory of natural, cultural, and historic resources in town and strategies to protect these resources. The key findings are 1, Northbridge has a rich history which has shaped the character of the town, resulting in a number of resources to preserve and promote. 2, residents view Northbridge's agricultural resources and are interested in preserving existing open space. 3, many of Northbridge's key ecosystems are at risk due to pollution and invasive species. And the goals for natural and cultural resources are 1, preserve historic and cultural assets in town and promote Northbridge's history to residents and visitors. 2, continue to protect and preserve Northbridge's agricultural land and open space. 3, protect Northbridge's vulnerable ecosystems. And our next chapter is open space and recreation. This chapter includes an inventory of recreational amenities, environmental resources, and open space, as well as strategies for management and protection of these areas. The key findings for open space and recreation are Northbridge residents prioritize recreational asset maintenance. Optimizing use of existing town-owned parcels should be prioritized over land acquisition. Residents value walking and hiking opportunities for quality of life. And more open space infrastructure is needed in areas where residents and youth spend time. The goals for open space and recreation are: 1, provide consistent maintenance and upkeep of all town-owned recreational assets; 2, increase recreational assets; and 3, expand recreational assets. All right, the next chapter is public facilities and services. This chapter focuses on public buildings and services, including schools, police, fire, library, parks, and public utilities. The key findings for public facilities and services are: school system needs outpace current fiscal capacity, and facility planning creates risk to service quality, safety, and long-term town competitiveness. Northbridge maintains fiscal stability, but structural revenue constraints limit long-term flexibility. Many of Northbridge's municipal facilities and infrastructure are aging and were built before modern operational accessibility and resiliency standards. Northbridge has limited property tax flexibility and municipal staffing and resource shortages. The goals for public facilities and services are: 1, address municipal resource shortages to improve service delivery; 2, develop long-term capital planning strategy to modernize municipal facilities, improve accessibility, and align infrastructure investments with future service needs; 3, strengthen the energy efficiency and resilience of municipal infrastructure to climate change and extreme weather events; 4, strengthen communication with residents and stakeholders; and 5, maintain long-term fiscal stability. All right, next chapter, transportation and circulation. This chapter includes inventory and analysis of all modes of travel, including roadways, public transit, biking, walking, parking, and recommends strategies and policies to improve the transportation system. Key findings for transportation include the town is a centrally located suburban community with regional access to employment and services. Conditions of roadways are a priority. 96% of survey respondents considered funding for DPW as very important. Opportunities for more commuter service and other transportation options, and sidewalk improvements and expansion and safer bike routes. The goals for transportation are: 1, increase resident satisfaction with the quality of roads and transportation infrastructure; 2, ensure driving conditions in Northbridge are safe and convenient; 3, make Northbridge a comfortably walkable town; 4, make Northbridge a great place to use bikes; and 5, make sure bus services are used and there are adequate services for elderly and people with disabilities. All right, and the final element is still in progress, but that's the sustainability and resilience chapter. This element focuses on climate resilience and preparedness for natural hazards. This chapter will support a coordinated framework for the town's resiliency projects, including infrastructure improvements like the Main Street and Carpenter Road causeways, and recommendations for best practices like nature-based solutions and low-impact development practices for stormwater management. Then finally, the implementation chapter provides a framework to implement the action items. I didn't get too deep into the action items, but those are the very specific recommendations to advance the goals that I mentioned. The implementation chapter includes an implementation matrix with tasks. It also includes potential responsible parties, priorities, potential funding sources, and other relevant information to advance the vision and goals recommended in this plan. And then finally, next steps include completion of remaining chapters, review of chapter drafts by the committee, departments, boards, and other committees, implementation of the implementation matrix. The implementation matrix will be prepared, and then in the fall, public comment period for the review of the plan, and then the final step is planning board adoption following all of these other remaining steps. So yeah, that's our presentation on the master plan update. Thanks again for having us. If you have any questions or comments, we're happy to hear those.
Thank you both so much. That was a lot of information, great information. I'm going to start down here with Selectman Paulus.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. And 1,500 people responded. Plus, I saw about 165 kids from the high school. So
Yeah.
it was a nice, I think, added touch to get some of that mix of our future residents. And I think you could see some of the things that they wanted in this with regards to like recreation and things. My question is that this goes in implementation in the fall, you said? Is that right?
So the implementation, we will create the matrix and finish
okay.
the chapter. So
Okay.
implementation is one of the chapters of the plan, but the actual implementation of the plan will be following the adoption by the planning board.
Does this have like any bearing on like, could it make us more competitive with other communities for like grants and that kind of stuff? Federal,
Absolutely.
state, that kind of thing?
Yes,
Okay.
it's
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a huge advantage in grant applications.
Thank you.
Selectman Collins.
Great presentation. Thank you to all of the people that helped with it. We appreciate their time and efforts, especially you guys. One question I had, we were going over the resilience and sustainability. Am I wrong, or did they knock down the Main Street Causeway program?
The Main Street Causeway, so we had a grant application
Yeah,
for that.
and we didn't get it.
And we didn't get it.
Okay, so, okay. I thought I was wrong there.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. And we can go out for it again.
Correct.
Because I know the program that was created was kind of nice, and the bikeways and stuff like that. But so, no, it's a tremendous presentation, and hopefully it'll help us get grants and get some more things done around here.
Yeah, just a quick one. TDR, how many towns in our region are doing that? I mean, it's been something that's been talked about for couple decades now, in my experience, and I'm just wondering if, towns here in Central Mass have actually
That's a
adopted
great
that.
question. My colleague Mike has
Yeah.
been working on the
Okay.
TDR assessment, so maybe
Not
you
to-
can
I
speak
know
to
you have a
that.
presentation coming up, but just curious.
Yeah, with your permission, Chair. The TDR research has been extremely interesting. I will be presenting it next week, I think. The thing about TDR is that every person you speak to says it's a fantastic thing and we should be doing it. In reality, there are 18 towns, I think it's 18 towns in Massachusetts that have it. There's one of those towns that uses it on a regular basis. They use it because they have, because many of you are involved in these decisions, you'll understand. Their parking requirement for commercial and industrial space is 2 to 1. So for 100 square meters of commercial space, you have to have, sorry, I tend to talk in meters, or I should talk in feet. For 100 square feet of commercial or industrial space, you have to have 200 square feet of parking, which is, frankly, crazy. So they have a system in terms of which, if you want to develop commercial or industrial land, you pay money to their community, their CPF, Community Preservation Fund, and you get your parking requirement reduced, and that's TDR. So what I will explain in the presentation that I do next week is that TDR works very effectively in many parts of the United States. It is very difficult to make it work effectively in Massachusetts. Effectively, there are Of those 18 towns, many of them have developed for a specific project, and Westborough had one very successful project. When I say it was very successful in one respect, not so successful in other respects. But so the information on it is mixed. I will recommend that I think the town can achieve what you would have hoped to achieve through TDR in other mechanisms, with other mechanisms which do the same things but don't require the same degree of difficulty, frankly, in getting a bylaw passed. So yeah, it's the fascinating thing for me is that we put out a survey on mass planners asking what people thought about TDR and what their experience was, and everybody who responded said they had no experience, but they thought it was great. So, you know, it's just one of those those things.
Yeah, no, I know it was a topic of consideration, just a matter of whether or not in reality implementation was feasible or actually even being done. So I'll reach out to Gary after and look for, just see what you guys present, but just more curiosity than anything else. But thank you.
And then just briefly for me, I thought this was a great presentation, extremely well put together, a lot of information for us to go back and share with residents. Just briefly, I would note I've had the chance to sit in on some of the meetings, being on the Economic Development Committee when we're not meeting as a board, or when I'm not taking up the town manager's time. And it's a great flow. The committee works great together. And just to your guys' point, the community engagement events were awesome. The one specifically that I was at was at the bowling alley, and it was amazing to see so many people from so many walks of life in this town come out and voice their opinion and ultimately contribute to this project. So appreciate all you guys are doing, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you. If I can, before we wrap up, one last thing is there is one last community survey out. It's posted on the town website. We encourage folks to participate, take the survey. It's an opportunity to give some feedback on the goals and action items that will be included in the plan. So again, thank you for having us.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Also like to thank, and I forgot earlier, Gary Bechtel
Yeah,
for
sure.
all of his hard work for this as well. So
Absolutely.
thank you all.
Thanks, team.
Thank you
Thank you very much.
Great seeing you all. Alrighty, and that wraps up our only discussion. Does the town manager have anything for town manager?
I do not. I do.
Nope. Selectmen concerns, Selectmen Collins?
Oh, reminder for tomorrow.
And Paulus?
Just a real quick shout out. A citizen reached out about some damaged equipment in Rockdale at a swing set. And I contacted Mike Dempsey over at Playground and Rec, and within 72 hours, it was fixed and back up. So I think he does a wonderful job. We all agree. So, and encourage the public to reach out when they see these things. So there are people out there willing to get it
they
fixed.
understand how much we appreciate
Oh,
what
absolutely.
Recreation is doing, because they're really working hard.
And then 2 brief reminders from me today. First off, town election is tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. are the time the polls are open. Hope everyone can go and vote if you haven't had the chance to early vote. And the second thing that I just want to mention is with Memorial Day coming up, the Blackstone Valley Veterans Association is seeking volunteers to help place flags at some soldiers' graves. They will be doing the Riverdale Cemetery 5/21, so that's Thursday at 6 p.m., and then Pine Grove Cemetery on Saturday, 5/23 at 8 a.m. So if you have some time, I think it's important that we kind of, pay respect to those that have given us so much and fought for our freedoms. And that is all I have, unless anyone has anything else. We'll entertain
Nothing
a
further.
motion.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Great.